This week it's about shadows and light sourcing. Obviously you can't have a shadow without a source of light. So I'm just going to explain obviously the very basics, what we're talking about. So we're talking about shadows. So as you can see, to get a shadow on an item, imagine it's a solid object. Obviously it's very obvious with a real object like this. You can see the shadow, and as you move the light, the shadow moves. So what we want to do in colouring is imagine that we've got exactly the same situation. So I was demonstrating this with this book, Dreamlings 2 by Edwina McNamee, or Namie, she's Irish, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. So here you can see that on this page there's a moon, quite obviously. So we're going to use that, or I use that, as my source of light in this image, and that's obviously, we've all heard of moonlight. The moon doesn't emit light, obviously not, but for the sake of colouring books it can. So I've positioned my light here, if you can see my light moving about. So I'm imagining that my light is coming from this direction on the page. So if this were a 3D object and the light was here, the shadows are going to fall kind of where I've put them in here, so on this side, if you like, of the object. So if you imagine these windows are like porthole windows and they're sort of standing out a little bit from the page, I just put some shadow in here, so just on the left hand side of that window. Same with the door, same with the other window, a little bit on the chimney and underneath the shingle on the roof, and on this side of the house as well, just so you get that idea that, as I say, that light is coming from that direction, and that's where the shadows, as you can see, that's where the shadows are going to fall. So obviously this is a nighttime scene, so I started doing a bit of a galaxy background, just because I like galaxies. I'm actually doing this as part of the mentorship program with A Colourful Life, set up by Anne Siggers, which is why I've done this little bit and this little bit down here. So the purpose of this little bit was where my mentee got to. She's a little bit further along than I am because I've been doing other things. So I just put a little bit of pink just to kind of mark out where she got up to, and just to kind of start looking at the shadow and the light source from this part of the picture as well. There's actually a second light source in this picture. It's a candle, it's not going to give off a huge amount of light, but obviously if you've ever had a power cut or, you know, anything like that, you're going to know how much light you can get in the dark with a candle. So I'm just demonstrating really how to go from the night sky into that light source and then probably back out a little bit as well. So what we've done is we've used the pink from the galaxy that I used, so obviously that could be any colour, your blues, your purples, or even your blacks. And then with a candle I've gone really the lightest yellow that I can. So in this instance it's cream. These are prismas, so stepping out from cream to deco yellow to canary yellow, lemon yellow to canary yellow, sunburst yellow, and then finally towards the outside the Spanish yellow or the Spanish orange, and then into your peaches just to bridge the orange to the pink. A lot of people miss out the peach when they're trying to bridge orange to pink. You really need that peach to kind of bring everything together. That's the order of the pencils, it just makes it a more natural gradient. So obviously if you've done that, then you can play around with your colours even more. So obviously if you've got purple, you want to be doing orange to purple via pink. Getting all my words in a mess today. Obviously orange to blue or black, you want to go via your blues or your purples. So whatever colour you use as a sky is going to bridge you into that orange for the candle, basically, just as an example on this page. Obviously there's not going to be any shadow on this side. Not only is the moon emitting our light for the sake of colouring, our light's coming from this direction, but it's also now coming from this direction a little bit more, so you are going to get thicker shadows up here and down here, and probably down here, because obviously there's no light coming from underneath. I haven't quite got to that part yet, obviously, with this page, but it just gives you a basic idea of the first step to putting shadows on anything. Figure out where you want your light sourcing to come from. Obviously a page like this, there is no, I'm just using this book, literally it's the first one I picked up because I'm just covering shadows with that mentee that I have. So obviously a page like this doesn't have a light source, so it's up to you as the colourist to kind of put that in. You can again light it from the side if you want, or you can light it from straight on. So just play around with your physical desk light that you've got, just try and imagine it as a 3D object and where those shadows might fall. If you're not sure, put your solid object, probably not that, is a bit big, put your solid object back, and it just gives you an idea of how that light hits that object and where the shadows then fall. So you can imagine if that is my flower, imagine that's your flower, and your light's coming from that direction, this part is going to be a lot darker. Sorry, a lot lighter than this part, oh my goodness. So you can kind of, you just play around with it a little bit with physical objects and obviously your colouring items as well. Yeah, that's probably the easiest way to explain it. That's certainly how I got started doing it. It was just playing around literally with a light and physical object, seeing where the shadows fall in real life. But the main thing to do is think about your light sourcing. If there is a sunshine or a moon or a street light or anything like that, it might get a little bit complicated, but it's worth taking that time to kind of figure out where you want your light and your shadows and they're going to fall. Something like this, obviously it's under a tree. I mean, I literally just I didn't know what was coming then. So it's obviously under a tree, so you're going to have quite a lot of this in shadow. So it might be that your light source comes from the windows. Seen that done quite a lot in colouring recently. So you want to create a kind of glowy effect like we talked about on the earlier page here. So you want your orange to really come from the window, and then your peach and your pinks, and building out from there. So it really doesn't matter where your light source is. It could be inside, it could be outside, it could be either angle, any angle you can imagine. As I say, just play around and have a think about where the shadows might fall. I'm going to try and do some demonstration colouring, just to kind of explain what I mean a little bit more in written word, because I'm having trouble with my vocal words today. So if you've got any questions, obviously just put them on the bottom of the thread and I'll do my best to help you out. Alright, good luck everyone, thanks very much.